to playing this game as if it were any other game? How do you feel like you did in that situation?
I think our guys focused, on the task at hand, and these are situations that I think sometimes can be difficult. And that's what the problem with some teams are, is they overlook other opponents. And I thought our guys had a great week of preparation. They understood what the deal was. We only had one game this week, and it was Missouri State, and they got our full attention. And I think we made mistakes, and we're always going to make mistakes. No one's going to play a perfect game, but I was proud of our guys' effort today. And that's the big thing that we're looking for every single Saturday we go on. It's how hard we play.
Chip, you talk about winning the day, and I don't know if it always coincides with what the scoreboard says. Did you win the day today, offensively and defensively?
I'll tell you the same thing I told them, Dwight, is that the day's not over. We're halfway through it. They won a football game, but they better all finish in their beds tonight for them to win the day.
Coach, a number of receivers stood out today, including Rashawn, Latier. Cole, every time he's touched the ball, has scored a touchdown. Talk about integrating David Paulson. Haven't seen him much. Want to see how he's going to fit in with the offense going forward.
We have not forgotten about David. Obviously he's a returning all Pac-10 performer. Sometimes it's just how the game plays itself out. You don't know if there's going to be a day where the tight end is featured a lot more, or there's other days where the wideouts are featured more. It really just depends on what the defense is taking away and what you're trying to get accomplished. And it's not, we were, hey, let's stay away from David. It's, those opportunities arise. I think Darren made some really good reads, and a lot of times in the progression today, the first receiver was open, so we never really got to the second part of the progression, and Darren put the ball on people by and large. I think it was 10 or 14. So it's one of those days where you're not going to get everybody involved, but I still think we got a few guys that contributed, and that's the encouraging thing for us, is developing that young depth. We know we have in David Paulson, and as this season goes along, we're going to have to rely on David Paulson.
Coach, I think before Pac-12 or Pac-10 play last year began, you were at Tennessee. Did these last two games do enough to get you ready for what's coming down in Tucson next week?
That's a good question. And my only answer is it better. We can't schedule another one before we play Arizona. So, I think the test we had in the opening game at LSU, if you watched the game last Thursday night against Mississippi State, I think you realize LSU's a pretty good football team. And I love the way our guys battled in that game. We made too many mistakes ourselves. We turned the football over, which we haven't done in the last two games. And we hurt ourselves with penalties. We got penalties today, but I don't think they necessarily hurt us. So really clean it up as you get into Pac-12 play, and obviously with the two new teams in it, the championship game, it's going to be an exciting season, and really don't know how it's going to play itself out. But I think everybody's kind of in the same boat. I know Stanford and Arizona played today, so they're getting their feet underneath them. Utah and USC played last week, but by and large, the Pac-12 season opens up next week for everybody, and we got to be ready to go.
Chip, you touched on this earlier, but if you could amplify a little bit on Darren's passing game. He seemed to throw both deep and short well, and right on target.
He did. Real nice job by him. Really impressed with the two deep balls he threw back to back, making great decisions on it. I think when we can throw the ball vertically down the field, that's obviously going to add a little bit more to our offense, is that you can't gang up on the run game. And obviously we feel like we can run the ball, but I think that with Darren back there, it allows us to be a balanced football team and make the defense cover the entire field. And as we develop more depth out of a receiver, and have some people there that people have to really take notice to, then I think it's just going to help us as a team. But I thought Darren was real accurate. He probably wants that one drive back where we were moving a little bit. We had a drop, it was an outside ball, and then I think Rashawn stumbled, and Darren was a little bit high. But those things happen. We're not going to complete every pass with it, but he's starting to get into a rhythm.
Coach Kelly, how do you describe the opening drive by Missouri State? What was going through your mind as you watched them drive?
First word I would say is impressive. I think for a team like that, and I know what it's like to go into tough places to play, and this is arguably one of the toughest places to play, but I was really impressed with the boys, really impressed with their execution. They came out, they weren't in awe of the stadium, they weren't in awe of the crowd, they weren't in awe of us, they came out and competed, and I'll give them credit. I think Terry does a nice job with that football team. It was the same thing. Sometimes the scores aren't indicative. They battled Arkansas the same exact way. They were 4 points less than Eastern Kentucky a week ago. That's a good football team. Unfortunately, I know what Terry's going through when you got to go on the road and play 3 games. That's the deal they're handed, but I don't think they made any excuses. They came out and played, they competed, and I was impressed with them.
Chip LaMichael had the second longest run in program history from scrimmage, longest in the modern era. After you guys kind of struggled to run the ball in the opener, how do you feel the running game is now as you're going into Pac-12 play?
We're getting better, but obviously a lot of that has to do with the opponent. I think as you see see that team from LSU is a pretty talented operation. So it's tough to say, well, we're running the ball a lot better against Nevada than we did against LSU. That's obvious. But when the opponent changes, it's a little bit. But I think our communication has improved up front. Those guys are starting to gel a little bit as a group as they get to play a little bit better. My question for you is, what actually is the delineation of the bottom here? You know when that is?
It's a good question.
Do we know that? I was just wondering. I'm just.
Maybe when
I'm not,
games
I'm
started
not trying to
being
be
on
nice
TV.
guy. I like to know who has the longest run in school history. You know?
It came in the 30s.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Before TV.
Before TV.
Before TV, that's kind of what I was
Before
saying.
Wikipedia.
Modern era TV.
Any other questions for Coach?
Can you just talk
The bat, they came out ready to play.
Yeah, they was ready to play, you know, and they was probably, of course, you know, knowing that they were the underdog and they was coming out hunting for us. And it had to click to us to let's get going, you know. We couldn't take any team lightly. So, I mean, we made our adjustments on the sideline. Then, of course, second half we came out with more adjustments to, you know, keep them to not score in the second half at all.
Based on the 2 wins against Nevada and Missouri State and then the loss to LSU, where do you think you guys are going into Pac-12 play?
I think we right where we need to be. You know, Coach Kelly is building this team to be great. You know, just like last year's team. You know, we had an early loss, so we're not used to that, but we're going to be on the right track.
Joel, you said earlier this week that you guys had to make sure you were on top of things. Did you feel like you came out slow? Did you say anything to the defense after that first drive?
I think everybody stepped up. You know, even Darren Thomas helped us out a lot, and he played on offense, you know, just letting us know that that's not who we are. And we came out, and after that, you know, everybody yelling at each other, you know, it was just easy from downhill down there.
Terrell, were you surprised the way Missouri State was able to execute right off the gun there?
Yeah, I think I was very surprised. You know, they came in there, underdogs, was just ready to play against a big team, and we was just excited to play them. And then they came out, you know, and got it right after us, and it was like, you know, whatever happened.
But you guys all seemed to wake up after that. You had that one series wasn't too good, and after that, pretty good.
Yeah, we made our adjustments, and then we got right after them and tried to shut them down. You know, they was still out there playing hard, and we respect them a lot for that.
What were you guys talking about in the huddle after that first drive when they scored?
We was actually just thinking about how crazy it was. You know, what they were doing differently than what we saw on film that's getting after us right now. And we noticed what it was, and we just made our adjustments. You know, they showed us a different blocking scheme, so we went from there.
Were they doing a lot of things differently on film than you anticipated?
No, they just changed up a little different blocking scheme from the previous games we saw them, and then we made our adjustments, which was easy because we see our offense do those things all through the week. So it was just easy for them.
He's getting better as game by game, but we've been working all summer trying to get that guy ready, and he's shown us what he got, so I'm happy that he's doing great things. Hopefully he continue. But he's been working hard, and it's paying off for him.
Darren, a couple questions. First of all, the running game, can you talk about how you guys have progressed since the LSU game and just where you feel it is, because you need to run to go with the pass?
Oh yeah, our offensive line have been doing a great job all week blocking. Last 2 weeks of blocking, but this week they want to come up front and we can power guys up front. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to be the team that can't run the ball or can't be diverse. So our linemen is taking it as a big challenge to come out each week and run the ball great.
How much do you think that has to do with the level of opponent?
Like I said, coming next week, you're going to see the same thing. We come out, we're going to be aggressive, ready to run.
Speaking of next week, Pac-12 play right around the corner now. You guys are 2-1. How do you feel the non-conference schedule has gotten you ready for it?
I think we're ready. I think we have seen what everybody can do now as a team. Now we got to just continue doing it and just keep on progressing and getting better.
Darren, where did that deep passing game come from? What breaks did it?
We've been working on it. It's something that just waiting for it to come out, but we've been working on it all year, so hopefully it continue. But the receiver's doing a good job, and the offensive line is getting better each game, so now I get to do 7-step drops and 8-step drops, so it's good.
When you hit a few like that, do you feel things open up a little bit in the run game too?
Oh yeah, it opens up a lot, but the run game's opened up early, so for us to be able to pass, and the pass open back up the run game, so it's kind of worked together.
It seems like you were hitting your targets, especially the deep targets, better today too. Why was that?
Just the hard work that we put in each week, preparation that we've been throwing at us each week, going out, completing deep balls, working after practice, working before practice, and things like that, and to start to pay off.
Your tempo seems to be almost at the same mid-season form it was last year. One series, 3 straight passes for touchdown. How are you guys getting it down so well?
It's just a continuous thing. Like we only inserted a couple of people on the offense that wasn't here last year, so we can still move fast. The guys that we inserted this year are really smart. The offensive line that we got in has really helped us to go faster. Really just getting the receivers lined up and ready to go because the offensive line is ready. Everybody's been doing a good job with the tempo things and just getting better.
Darren, at one point you guys had 4 touchdowns in 11 plays. What was going on that your offense was clicking so well today?
I just think that's just how our offense is. We out each drive trying to be. We're not trying to give up nothing on no drive. We want to come out each drive and score, put up points. And that's what happened today. We went out and put up points.
Needed to see a couple things that we did today, but it's just invaluable. Being in that situation, you can't simulate, the game-like stuff and really get hit and tackled and live tackle type situation in practice enough. And so, again, he'll do nothing to get better. I think we played everybody with eligibility today on offense, and I assume probably pretty close to that on defense too.
I mean, offensive line, that was kind of a question going into the season. It is into most seasons. What's your evaluation of the offensive line after 3 games?
I think like maybe our whole team, there's still potential there. Those guys did a nice job today. They at Missouri State came out and showed a completely different thing than they'd done on film, and so our guys adjusted without any hiccups, pretty much. But just from a communication standpoint, that was a big test. And then you saw Carrington Armstrong come in at center a little bit. Jake came in again and did a nice job. He jumped out on a couple of finishes, finished this guy downfield, and so those guys can still get a lot better.
Mark, second quarter, you guys really kind of got it going on offense. 11 points. What would you attribute that to? The opponent in the opener, and then the weaker opponents in the last 2 games, or are you guys getting better?
LSU's really good. Let's put that in a different category of anyone nationally. But by the same token, we've taken a look at what we did wrong and fixed it. And again, in the LSU game, it wasn't necessarily just getting our tail kicked or something. We had some assignment deals, some communication things, and those 2 things have gotten a lot better.
So would you say at 2-1 now, after 2 solid performances against these 2 teams, that you are ready for Pac-12 play?
We'll find out. We're playing a great team and been a fantastic defensive football team through the years. Obviously, offensively, they're really good too, and we've had some great games with them.
We had a Tuesday,
and they're ready.
The fact that you haven't had a big breakout game until today.
No, I'm a bit frustrated. It's going to happen. Eventually it's going to happen. Those games are going to be like that sometimes. But as long as we keep winning, then I'm happy. It doesn't really matter as long as we win.
You feel like the offense is clicking a lot more today. You guys were just in a rhythm. Feel like it was really quick.
Yeah, most definitely. We're getting better chemistry with each other. Throughout practice and game experience. That comes with time, and I feel like we're getting there. Just with our confidence, and I'm happy with the way we came out and played today.
Well, like on that long run, it almost looked like you were in Hayward Field running at 100. And anyone touched you, did you feel that way a little bit? Because it was just a sprint.
Yeah, it was basically a sprint. Offensive line did a great job. Justin Hoffman, credit to him. He did a great job blocking for me. I just have to run.
Tom, on the 90-yard run, at one point, did you know that you were gone?
I got in the end zone. Seriously.
Coming out of the LSU game, you said you wanted to assert yourself a little bit more in the next coming games. Did you feel like you've done that now? That you've kind of proven? Stats indicate that you have, but I feel like you have.
Just need to get better. Each and every week I need to come out and compete, being more instinctive and trusting in the alignment and the blocks, and just really trusting myself. And I feel like I've been doing that.
Michael, after 2 confidence-building games, is your confidence in the line where it needs to be given what's coming down the road now?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That takes time. We've been struggling a little bit just because of chemistry. We haven't really played a game. We played 2 now, or 3, and it takes time to get that game experience and understand it. With reps, and I feel like we're taking great strides. The offensive line doing a great job, and so the wide receivers blocking downfield, and everything's coming together like a body with it.
Michael, over here, Chip mentioned the level of opponent in the LSU game was pretty good. These last 2 teams maybe not up to that level, but how would you say that the running game is, given all those factors? Are you guys ready for Pac-12 play?
Yeah, I have to say, I feel like we're definitely ready. That team was a good team. They came out, they were really fighting. They were underdog, and they came out, they were really scrappy. And, when you play teams like that, you have to be on your P's and Q's at times. And I feel like we're taking great strides, great strides in what we're doing right now. The offensive line had great hand placement. The receivers, they really block downfield, they run the ball around, and everything is coming together.
Coach Frost is in the other room. Just